What's up, fight fans? The UFC world has gone absolutely wild this week. Conor McGregor is turning politics into a spectacle. Hamzat Chimaev just revealed the most ambitious dream in UFC history. And Jon Jones is teasing a comeback that could take place on the front lawn of the White House. But that's not all. Ilia Topuria is caught in controversy. Caio Borralho just suffered his first loss in 10 years. Tom Aspinall can't stop praising Paris. Paul Craig has said his final goodbye. And Merab Dvalishvili is bringing comedy when fans need it most. From shocking retirements to presidential campaigns, this week has everything. And before we dive in, hit that subscribe button so you never miss the biggest UFC stories as they break. Let's start with the man who never fails to grab headlines, Conor McGregor. He officially announced his run for the Irish presidency. But there's one massive problem. He may not even make it onto the ballot. Under Irish election law, candidates need support from either 20 members of parliament or 4 local councils. McGregor has neither. In fact, a recent poll of 134 Irish politicians showed zero support, not one signature. But if you know McGregor, you know this isn't about politics, it's about spectacle. Instead of quietly lobbying for support, he FaceTimed Elon Musk. McGregor posted the screenshot online with the caption, "Superman level, folks." Elon even played along on X, writing, "No one will fight harder for the people of Ireland than Conor McGregor." But let's be real. Elon isn't Irish, he isn't a voter, and he has no influence in Ireland's elections. McGregor also dropped a fiery campaign video outside the Irish government buildings, blasting the current leadership and pushing his anti-immigration stance. He called on fans to pressure local officials into nominating him. But again, zero political backing, zero party support, and a history of scandals trailing behind him. Even if he somehow won, the Irish presidency is mostly symbolic. The president doesn't pass laws or hold referendums. It's a ceremonial position. But maybe that's exactly the point. For McGregor, politics isn't about policy. It's about keeping his name in the spotlight. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. And if you're enjoying this circus already, make sure to like this video so more fight fans can join the conversation. But while McGregor was chasing headlines in politics, one rising contender was chasing his shot at UFC gold. In Paris, Nassourdine Imavov put on one of the biggest performances of his career. He scored a dominant unanimous decision over Caio Borralho, extending his win streak to 5. The crowd roared as Imavov shouted, "I'm next!" making it clear he wants a title shot. But here's the problem. The UFC isn't always impressed with decision wins. Dana White and the matchmakers are waiting for October's fight between Dricus du Plessis and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. If that fight ends in fireworks, the winner could leapfrog Imavov for the next shot at Hamzat Chimaev's belt. Daniel Cormier gave his take too. Imavov was dominant, but people will want to wait and see. A decision isn't enough to crown you the #1 contender. Robert Whittaker went even further, admitting what many fans believe. "I don't know how anyone beats Hamzat at the moment. His wrestling, his pace, his relentlessness, it's overwhelming." Israel Adesanya, always analytical, gave a little hope. He said if Imavov can stuff Hamzat's takedowns, that's the only way to turn it into a real fight. But he also admitted nobody has managed to neutralize Hamzat's wrestling yet. So while Imavov has momentum, the shadow of Hamzat looms large. And Hamzat's ambitions? They're bigger than anyone expected. Hamzat Chimaev isn't just a fighter anymore. He's a phenomenon. Wherever he goes in Europe, fans chase him through the streets like he's a rock star. His aura is different, his energy is magnetic, and now his ambition is even more shocking. According to his coach, Alan Do Nascimento, Hamzat wants to become the first ever 3-division UFC champion. Not just welterweight and middleweight, he wants light heavyweight too. Think about that. Double champs like McGregor, Daniel Cormier, and Amanda Nunes made history. But no one has ever ruled 3 divisions. The idea sounds insane. But if anyone could attempt it, it might be Hamzat. His suffocating wrestling has broken elite fighters. His confidence borders on reckless, and his body frame allows him to cut to welterweight, dominate at middleweight, and bulk to 205. Still, moving to light heavyweight means facing giants who cut from 230 pounds or more. One mistake, and the dream crumbles. But Hamzat doesn't think in limits. He thinks in legacy. Robert Whittaker admitted the division doesn't have grapplers good enough to stop him. Adesanya said if you can stop the takedowns, you've got to fight. But nobody has stopped them yet. So the question isn't if Hamzat wants history, it's who can stop him from taking it. But while Hamzat was plotting an empire, one fighter was tasting defeat for the first time in a decade. For Caio Borralho, UFC Paris ended in heartbreak. After 10 years undefeated, he finally lost. Imavov beat him by decision, ending a streak that had defined his career. Losses like this can break fighters. But Barjo's response showed his character. Instead of blaming judges or making excuses, he went online and admitted the truth. Imavov was the better man that night. He thanked fans for their support, promised to learn, and vowed to return stronger than ever. He even teased a quick comeback, maybe as early as November or December. That humility earned him respect across the fight world. What do you think? Was this just a bump in the road? Or did Imavov expose flaws that could haunt Barjo in the future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be checking them out. But Paris wasn't just about defeats. It was about unforgettable energy. Tom Aspinall, the interim heavyweight champion, couldn't stop praising the Paris crowd. He called it one of the loudest, most electric atmospheres he's ever experienced. And for a fighter who has competed under some of the brightest lights, that's saying something. Aspinall's star is rising fast. And with Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic, and Sergey Pavlovich all in play, the heavyweight division is more exciting than it's been in years. Aspinall feels like the fresh energy the division desperately needed. But while Aspinall looked to the future, another fighter was saying goodbye. Not everyone left Paris smiling. Backstage, Silva was filmed reacting to his close friend Mauricio Ruffy's loss. The disappointment was raw and emotional. Ruffy had hype, big talk, and pressure on his shoulders. But the fight game is unforgiving. Silva later echoed Islam Makhachev's mantra, train more, speak less. A painful lesson, but one fighter's learned the hard way. And then came an even heavier moment. Paul Craig, the Scottish veteran, announced his retirement after a brutal knockout loss to Modestas Bukauskas, with just 1 second left in the round. Craig's farewell was poetic. He quoted Socrates, "It's a shame for a man to grow old without witnessing the beauty and strength his body can achieve." It was a reminder that behind every win and loss is a human being who sacrificed everything for the sport. But while one veteran said goodbye, another legend was refusing to walk away. Jon Jones is once again the center of attention. Rumors swirled that he was retired. Dana White even brushed off the idea of a White House UFC card, calling it a 1,000,000,000 long shot. Chael Sonnen suggested Jones's talk was smoke and mirrors, asking what he was even fighting for anymore. But Jones himself shut it all down. At the MTV VMAs, he declared, "I'm not retired. I'm training 5 days a week. I'm still in the USADA pool. I'll be ready." He made it clear his dream is to fight on the rumored White House card. Is it realistic? Maybe not. But if there's one thing about Jon Jones, it's that controversy follows him everywhere. And whether you love him or hate him, he knows how to keep fans talking. Jones explained his confidence simply: hard work and repetition. Doing the things people don't like to do, that's the mindset that made him the GOAT. And he's not done yet. But Jon Jones wasn't the only one stirring up drama this week. Ilia Topuria is the name on everyone's lips, and not just because of his skills. Paddy Pimblett has been calling for a fight, saying he'd finish either standing or on the ground. Confidence has never been Paddy's weakness, but Topuria's name is in the spotlight for another reason: accusations of ducking. Islam Makhachev recently claimed Topuria is avoiding Arman Tsarukyan, even saying Topuria admitted privately he'd rather retire than fight Arman. That accusation hit hard. Tsarukyan is considered one of the most dangerous lightweights in the world. If Topuria avoids him, it casts doubt on his entire championship trajectory. So now the narrative is clear. Is Topuria protecting his belt, or just playing smart until the payday is right? Silence only fuels speculation, and fans are demanding answers. After all the drama, Merab Dvalishvili brought some much-needed humor. In his latest skit, his friend wrecks his BMW, leaves a note saying it was just a tiny scratch, and flees back to Georgia. Fans couldn't stop laughing. Merab proves once again he's one of the most entertaining personalities outside the cage. Meanwhile, Caio Borralho also faced defeat for the first time, losing to Imavov. Instead of hiding, he posted a message less than 24 hours later. Defeat teaches us. You learn to get up by falling. He promised a return in November or December, and fans are already rooting for him harder than ever. So let's recap. McGregor is chasing headlines in politics. Imavov is chasing a title shot. Hamzat is chasing history as a 3-division champion. Barjo and Borralho are chasing redemption. Aspinall is chasing heavyweight glory. Silva is learning painful lessons. Paul Craig bowed out with grace. Jon Jones is chasing one more chapter of greatness. And Topuria, he's caught between callouts, accusations, and the weight of expectation. The UFC never slows down. The only question is, who will define the next era? Stick around, because if this week was wild, the next one might be even crazier.